Welcome to Conversations for the Soul. I'm Alleson Gregary, and today we're here with Joy Anderson, who is a spiritual advisor and author. Welcome back, Joy. And there's a reason why she's called Joy, because I just think about you and I just light up. You're just such a beautiful, shining light in this world. And I'm so grateful to have this conversation with you.
Thank you, Alleson.
Yeah, and I think we're going to make
always.
this a regular thing too, because it's a lot of fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun, and we're beginning to journey with one another more often so we can share the wisdom that's been tucked away and allow people to embrace it when they're ready.
Absolutely.
So we have been coming out of the closet for such a long time, and now we are willing to express our authenticity without fear. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, we have no choice going forward. You know,
Well,
either you're gonna be out there or you're just gonna, I don't know, go away or what.
Yes. I believe in free will. We always have free choice, but those who have chosen to stay in this higher frequency of light will not want to return to the old way, because it is filled with constant triggers of pain and suffering and reminders of the old belief systems. And for those light workers who are ready to embrace this new world, there is no way that there can be a desire to return to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, we had discussed last time that it'd be kind of fun to talk about the chakra systems, because there's more than the 7 that are talked about all the time.
Yeah. So just to remind everybody who doesn't know me, my channeling world began in 2004, and I take my spiritual journey very seriously and committed to that devotion of working under and for a council of 12. The council of 12, to help define it, which you can't truly define, is part of our solar system. It's part of this galaxy. And so if we could imagine that there are 12 planets in this galactic experience, and each one of my 12 were coming from the essence of that planet, and allowing their collective wisdom to drop down and infuse into and with mine. So I worked for them for 10 years until I graduated in 2014 to channel with a council of 24 elders, which is that much more expensive. So the early years were interesting in that I was devoted, trusting 100%, immersed 100%, wrote things that I really didn't truly understand, but was willing to write about. And one of these aspects was the re-emergence, not emergence, but re-emergence of the new chakra system. So as we waded through the muck and mire of the third dimension, which was controlled by dark forces for such a long time, and if I don't like to give anything a definitive, because we all have our own truth and our own story, but we've moved through these 12 cycles and have gone through the fruition and the completion of the 12 cycles, equating approximately 300,000 years, and the last being just under 26,000 years. Now, on Earth, we only focus really on the last 2,500, which is the blink of an eye. Yeah. So in those years since Buddha, Christ consciousness, we are aware of a 7 chakra system, which helped us cope. It was a coping mechanism. to live in a third dimension. And that third dimension has to sit with divinity somehow in order to connect with the divine supreme energy force that I call God. So some in the previous lifetimes would immerse themselves in religion or philosophies such as Buddhism, etc., to find a way to connect to the divine. And with this completion of the 12 cycles, we've basically finished with the Piscean cycle, moved into a brand new cycle, new world, new age, golden age, whatever you want to call it, the new dawn, it doesn't really matter. Some are calling it the age of Aquarius. This has allowed an awakening, a reemergence, a reactivation of what has been sitting dormant, sleeping inside of our body. And it's enhanced what was already existing. Those 7 chakras are being awakened to a new level. And so when we refer to the root-based chakra, we are referring to what exists in the perineum. And it does connect through our legs and our feet to the Earth Mother, which is necessary for us to find a grounding base to walk through this consciousness. When we don't ground to the Earth Mother, we feel like we're bumping into things. Life is not smooth and easy. And so I often say to my grandkids, just shuffle your feet, jump up and down, roar and move the body, shake and wiggle. And so we do all of these physical movements to ground ourselves very, very quickly. And the wisdom is brought up from the core crystalline Akashic record, that living library of the Earth Mother. So as we walk on her, as we attune to her, this information becomes an exchange. I refer to it like a clothesline, a pulley system between the Earth Mother's core crystalline wisdom and our root chakra, which brings it in and stabilizes it, grounds it, prepares it for the next energy station. Now, just to give reference to sound, I use the sound chakra, like chapter, based on some of the yogis that I've read about or worked with. Other people use a soft sh. It really doesn't matter. There are many differentiations of sound, but I use chakra. And so in reference to the root chakra, we want that chakra to be grounded and really connecting to the earth. And we can do that through walking on the ground every day for 20 minutes, going outside, sitting in the sun for 10 minutes. It's very, very simple. When we move that energy to the next station, and these chakras are wheels of light, in reference to Sanskrit. I like to refer to them as energy stations along a train track. And the train track is the spinal cord. I like everything to be simple and easy. So as we move along our central nervous system connected to the spinal cord, there's this integration, this linking. We come to the second chakra, which is the sacral plexus, which really infuses, activates all the sexual organs for co-creation, procreation with the divine. Again, we're co-creating. Previously, we were procreating, and now we're co-creating and procreating. And so this second chakra needed to be healed. There was a lot of damage in the first, the second, and the third, which I call the power body. So when we look at that second chakra, the sacral plexus, sacral chakra, the sex chakra, some people call. We're looking at a commitment to reviewing past life storylines, memory lines, which are now just ghost memories, because all of that is gone. Nevertheless, we hold ghost memory, and it may be triggered by family, people, places, and things. And these are wounds that both male and female have experienced. And it's full of trauma. And so to sit with it, write it, heal it with practitioners, and to resolve it. To resolve it by giving it I forgiveness. The Ho'oponopono can be brought into your body. It can be brought into that energy station, and it can sit there. I forgive you. I love you. Please forgive me. Thank you. And each one of us has a ritual or a prayer that we can bring in through our mind consciousness to each individual chakra that has its own essence. They're all like individual children that exist inside of us. And we want to make them all smile. We want them each to be happy in their station of life. And so I'm going through this relatively quickly because I want to focus on the head today. And people can review the old method, the 7 chakra system, which is still relevant, but just think of it being expanded. Right. And when we move that energy from the base root chakra through the sacral chakra and into the solar plexus, we're bypassing the navel, which is our silver cord for astral traveling into the outer worlds. We've got lots of cords going on, but this one is pretty major, but we're just going to bypass it for now and move into the solar plexus. And it really is in that lower part of the diaphragm where if you're punched in that lower belly, the wind gets knocked out of you. And that literally is the case because it is the will to live, the will to survive, the will to choose. This is our power of the power body. And I love that reference to power body, first, second, and third chakra, because this is how we take our power back, whether you're male and the male is taking the power of the heart back, whether you're female, the female is taking the power of will back, the power to be seen back, the power to allow our presence back. And all of this was activated collectively for the females during the harmonic convergence in 1987, 88, and 89. There's lots of activations that go on. In fact, they're continual. But this was a major harmonic convergence where the outer worlds beyond our galaxy came through our reference points, moved into the Earth Mother's core crystalline wisdom, into her Akashic record, and activated her literally electrically. It's like electric lightning bolts that mega scalar waves that come in, those sound waves. You can use many words again, but they come in. She's activated. Once she is activated within her Akashic record living library, then she in turn sends it out to each individual human. And in 1988, all females received this activation from the Earth Mother Gaia at the time to take the power back over the next 12 years. And we say 12 years because it took women specifically to the new millennium year of 2000. And that in turn would take us another 12 years to the rebirthing of the Earth Mother. So you can see it's layered. Everything is very, very layered. when we talk about taking our power back, once again, we need to go into those past, present, future lifetimes and review them as best we can. And I believe that the light workers that have been invited here to this planet at this time have reference to all of those lifetimes when they sit in some form of meditation. And maybe it's a flash of lifetime, or maybe it's a picture or a sound of lifetime, but to take that picture and journal it, to write it, maybe burn it, somehow heal it, and use the forgiveness prayer in that energy station once more, so it can fully stand strong and fully awake. If you look at the difference between the male and the female in this lifetime, the males were incarnated, reincarnated with full power, but females have for a very long time been giving the power away, or having it stolen, or having it destroyed. And so they had to be willing to take it back. And that also means balancing the male and the female energy to become androgynous beings rather than female energy within a female body or male energy within a female body. It is to be both, integration of male and female. And when that occurs, there is an ease at being the doer and the receiver. It becomes very easy to create the balance and find the center point of your authenticity. So with this in mind, we can, there's no guarantee, but we will say that the majority of females who have accepted this fifth dimensional growth pattern have also accepted the power that exists within them, and are beginning to create, co-create, procreate with that power inside of them. It's quite beautiful. The colors of those three chakras are basically the same, but they are brighter, cleaner. And the difference is that they blend together. Before there was less blending, and now it looks very much like a beautiful sunset or the color of autumn leaves. And so when you look at your own power body, it's very, very strong, very clear, and very clean. So this is where the shift begins. And the shift has been coming for a long time. I'm going to use these dates very loosely. It's different for everybody. But when we go back to the approximation of 1993, 94, 95, there was a shift in the Earth's movement from the Pleiadian star system into a photon belt, which is a series of clusters of molecular movement. It looks very much like a donut with a hole in the middle. And so the Earth movement was very slow, but it occurred over the next 17 years, which took us to 2012 and the rebirthing of the Earth Mother. And it took her closer, not into, but closer to the Sirian star system, which is more familiar now with the Earth's intention. It will be an inclusion of higher dimensional frequencies, and it will allow ease to get into those higher dimensional frequencies right up into the 9th dimension. And we'll talk about this a little bit later. But in order to achieve this integration of the new heart body, again, I'm going to call it a body, we have a what I used to say was a temporary sternum diaphragm chakra right at the base of the sternum and in that diaphragm area. I would refer to this as the giant onion, and it was needed so that we could look at our past life experiences and peel the onion and peel the onion and peel the onion of all of that pain and suffering, that third, second dimensional pain and suffering that has been here far too long. And so I literally could visualize this chakra looking like an onion. And once the onion is fully peeled, if you can imagine this onion fully peeled, there's a seed of consciousness left in that chakra. It's not considered a minor chakra, but it's not considered a major chakra. It's like it has movement. It's as if it's an assistant to the major heart chakras, much like the pituitary, which we'll talk about. And so it absolutely has value. It has tremendous value. But what I saw for myself and many other light workers was that after they finished the work of reviewing, dissolving, resolving those storylines of old, the seed was transferred into the individual's Akashic record, where the individual will look at it after crossing over when they view their Akashic record film, movie of this particular lifetime in relationship to all lifetimes. It's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
I just love that whole experience of, well, where does it go and what does it do? And so we're going to give it a tremendous amount of value. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to just explain one more thing. I don't want to lose reference. I don't want to lose anybody, but if they want confirmation of this new system, you can read You Are Becoming a Galactic Human by Virginia Essene, Essene, and Sheldon Nidle, Nidle. I'm going to show you a diagram somewhere between 2012 and 2014, a beautiful male entered into the Joy of Living Center's satsang and asked the question, well, how do you know what you're saying is true? Like, how do you know? What makes you the orator of this truth? And I replied to him that I trust my divine council of 12, but I would research it. And so I went on a spiritual quest, and within the week, I drove up north to Salmon Arm, which is very, very close to the Rocky Mountains. And in one bookstore, I found, literally fell off the shelf, 6 books. And this is what he shows. So you can see the first, second, third, and then we have the diaphragm. So he includes all of these chakras in his book, which was written in not just his and hers, in 1993, 1994. So I love that there are other authors out there that are confirming this, but I will state that light workers who are just beginning to channel, please be very careful. Make sure you go through that ritualistic cleansing and protecting prayer before you channel any information from the divine, because it's very easy for outer worldly snippets of non-energy information to leak in, seep in. So it's just it's just a request to be very careful. All right, there's lots of people out there that are espousing this and that, and you have to ask your individual self, is this true? Is this true for me? Because there are many truths out there. Anyway, let's go back to the heart.
If I ask you a question, am I going to take you off track?
No, not at all.
I'm just curious about these. Okay, so we're going through the chakras, and I'm thinking, what if somebody has surgery? How does that affect the chakra system? If they go
It
in there and
depends.
start removing
Well,
organs, like say you have a hysterectomy or gallbladder taken out, is that going to affect the system, or can you bring it back online?
well, it's quite interesting because each chakra is affiliated energetically with one of the endocrine system glands. And so if you have, and lots of people have their gallbladders removed or a hysterectomy, and it becomes a ghost, a phantom. Okay. So the gallbladder still has that energetic presence no matter that it's physically been removed. Same as the hysterectomy. It has a phantom being. And so that energy, with the support of the individual and its healing team, can heal the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of that physical organ that has, or arm or leg that has been removed.
Okay. And so the chakra doesn't really get affected by that.
Well, it will be, it's like an electrical, it's like a taser. It's been shocked.
Okay.
And so it's no different than having a car accident. The physical body goes into shock. Okay. And hopefully for that person, there's an energy team that can reduce and eliminate the shock. And so the same thing is applicable to those physical removals or physical surgeries that occur in the body. They all need time to mend, but it will mend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And as we move into these new technologies of healing, it'll be fast and furious. It'll be really, really amazing, miraculous for us to watch this process happen like in a nanosecond. Wow. So does that?
Yep, that makes
support
sense.
Good. Yeah, not to worry. And we're talking about this new story. We're not talking about the old. All right? Okay. Good. Because that would be a whole different answer. Okay. Good. When we talk about the heart, I love the heart. The heart is the nest. And so the heart holds the soul when it's resting in the body. It nests in the heart of the heart. And if we were to go within the heart, we would see not one seed, but a cluster of tiny little seeds. You can call them atoms, subatoms, molecules, but that's not the right name. It's a cluster of energetic presences that are there to support the knowing, the blossoming, the expansion of the heart, this intuitive knowing that shoots up like a flower and expands all around the body. So the heart has great value, tremendous value. And in 2015, after the Earth Mother went through her 2012, 2013, 2014 rebirth experience, she shipped us all into a cocoon. It's like a light chamber, and we all have our own individual starship that exists within and around us. Just imagine that you're encapsulated within your own starship. So she put us each into our own starship light chamber and cocooned us for a gestation period. At the end of her last rebirth in the spring of 2014, all the way through to the winter of 2014 and January 2015. And then we metamorphosized. And when we metamorphosized, our new DNA, the 12th strand, was activated. Boing, 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 boing. It was like electrical, magnetic energy that was just flying in and out of us. And if we are really able to meditate on this, you will see it and feel it and know it as electrical currencies that are redefining itself within the body and awakening this new chakra system. And yes, it has always been there, but now it's awake and it's ready to explore and expand itself. And so the heart is really the base, the core of this experience. And we talked about a pulley system from the power body, especially the root chakra, into the core crystalline wisdom of the Earth Mother. Well, the heart also has this pulley system. It's like an in and out of information and wisdom. It goes down into the heart, through the layers, the earth, through the layers of the earth, and connects. And so there's a distribution, a giving and a receiving, always a giving and a receiving, this sharing with the Earth Mother. But hers is a double whammy. Her energy goes into the earth, but it also goes up through the body and into the divine. So she has a lot of things going on with her. And I refer to the heart as she because her general energy is goddess. All right. She's very balanced, but her predominant energy is more goddess than God, more female than male. And so there is this intuitive knowing that exists within that heart space. And if we were all on this planet to live within the heart space, there would be no war. Right. There would be no war with family, friend, neighbor, or countrymen. It would not exist. It can't. Yeah. It can't exist. And so what was activated to support the heart? First, remember, we're supporting the healing of the heart by adding the sternum diaphragm chakra, peeling the onion, and then the thymus. We thumb the thymus to renew our health, especially the immune system. And the thymus is a new chakra, very major. There's nothing minor about, again, her. So if we were to look on the other side of the body, between the shoulder blades, slightly at the top of the shoulder blades, usually you can thump that thymus too. There are wings. These are the angelic wings that we talk about, the angelic kingdoms, the angelic hosts are all supporting this expansion of the divine. So this is how we connect to the God force, the supreme energy force, the creator energy force of all that is. We are connecting here with the divine presence of all that is. And so the information begins as the heart opens. When you ask a question, it answers from here. It just sweeps up and out and around and embraces us. And when we ask, because we must always ask for permission, we must always ask the question, the answer comes back in. If not immediately, then when it is appropriate to that individual. We're all different. And so this thymus is newly awakened and ready to rock and roll, And it is very closely connected to the throat chakra, which previously in my world was disconnected. It was as if we had a power body, a heart body, and a throat chakra that was living all by itself. And how many lifetimes have you experienced or know stories, past life stories, where we've been, we've removed our life life has been removed around the throat chakra. How many past life stories have we experienced where we have not allowed or been allowed full expression of truth? And so our throat chakra is taking back its power, allowing fullest expression of authenticity per person. We each have this existent, beautiful soul that is the constant essence of who we are, that is constantly reminding us of who we are. And our personality is the toolbox. It is the skills and the knowledge that we bring in and that we learn to communicate. And so whatever your essence of soul is will be communicated through the heart, the thymus, and the throat. The throat is now part of the heart body. It's part of this beautiful sternum, diaphragm, heart, thymus, and throat body. So
okay, I have another question.
Question?
Yes. Okay. Now we always talk about our gut instinct.
Yes.
That's the sacral.
Yes.
So do the sacral and heart kind of work together to give you intuitive pings as to what's happening or what's going on, or do they work a little separate, or how does that come into play?
It's such a good question, because when we all existed for such a long time in the third dimension, we were influenced by our gut. We had a feeling in our gut. The feeling, the concept comes into the root, and the feeling is shown in the sacral chakra. And now everything is not only linked, but united with filaments of threads of the new 12-strand DNA. All right, so the DNA are 6 clusters of 2. But I'm not going to talk about that because that'll take me right off course. The gut is still there, that gut feeling, but it's not the predominant.
Okay.
All right. When I always like to tell many of my younger students who are 25 and under, trust your intuitive knowing. We're working from here now. So if you go into a home and it doesn't feel good, make an excuse and leave. If you're in a new country and in an environment that doesn't feel right, make an excuse and leave. So it will show you when you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. So specifically to answer that, it is very, very different. If you want us to explain a little bit more, we will. The key word for the sacral plexus chakra is I trust. And we've been healing all of that I trust, because we really haven't trusted for a long, long time.
Yes.
And now we're going to trust that everything is a co-creation in that sacral chakra. And the solar plexus will give us the will, the strength, the belief, the desire to do it. And as we climb up that train station into the heart will sing with it. Okay. The heart will balance the male and the female so that there is this constant sharing, singing, joy. It's full of emotion, yes, same as the sacral chakra. They're 2 very emotional chakra systems. That part is very real, but one is trusting and the other is singing.
Well, we're living more from this space now, so it makes sense to just kind of let that kind of run the show.
Yes, let that run the show. Absolutely. The divine heart is, it's singing new color, new vibration, new movement. It's creating a whole different concept of being within us.
Okay.
And for a long time, we've allowed the heart, in some sense, to be the master. And since the new chakra system has been fully activated along with the new DNA, it's no longer it's like the center station, but not the predominant station.
Okay.
And we'll go there and explain why.
Okay.
But it definitely is very, very clean, bright, golden yellow, very, very gold, gold white, gold silver, gold yellow. So you can ask the question, well, where's the green? It's all in there. It's all there. If we were to put all the colors of the rainbow together, they would create a sensation of gold. And now the rainbow is showing us new colors in between the colors and beyond the colors. And so even our chakra system is showing new colors, more vibrancy. As we move up towards the crown, the colors become even clearer, almost translucent, but they are very iridescent, almost neon. Well, I won't say almost, they are. They're electric. They're very, very bright and very electric.
And the significance of the colors. Can we touch on that real quick? Or is that too in depth?
No, it is the sound vibration of that particular chakra. The essence gives them, each chakra, as we said, is like a child. And so each chakra has an essence within the essence of the soul. So the soul will provide the integrity of each chakra. The root has an integrity, it has an essence, it gives it meaning, and the meaning gives it color. All right? Okay. The meaning gives it color. The Sacral Chakra, same thing, has value, integrity. It has an essence that's defined from the soul, the individual soul that works with many others within its soul family. And that gives it a certain vibratory frequency that creates the color. The frequency creates the color. And right now the colors are not solidly defined. And so that is why many light workers are channeling, it's this color. Oh no, it's that color. It's this color. No, it's that color. Because everything is changing through non-time. We're definitely going through some major time warps. Right? So the new system is, in a sense, in a time warp. And we just need to be very patient for it to settle. And will it settle? Yes. When will it settle? It's dependent on the collective human races that exist on the planet now. Okay. So it's still a long journey ahead. Does that help define? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
The best way for you to, if you are a meditator, if you are sense-oriented, go into your own body and one by one, feel the color of each individual chakra. And when you feel it, you begin to see it. The feeling will create the seeing. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, good. Of course, whatever color your chakra system is creating is the color that you're going to show the world. That becomes your auric energy system. And so it is important to be aware of it, because like attracts like. And you want that whole system very balanced, very clean, very moving. No stagnation, no little mud pies or mud puddles.
Okay.
All right. So we've got the power body, we have the heart body. In the spring of 2015, the collective males were activated, once again, coming from the outer worlds into the core crystalline Akashic record of the Earth Mother, and then out to each individual male, and the heart was activated. So the males find it, or I'm not going to say previously, found it easier to live in the power body rather than the heart body. And now it is no longer applicable. All must live in the heart body. And so the males needed to take that power back and feel that resonance, that oneness that exists in the heart. It hasn't been easy. There has been tremendous resistance. The females collectively have had to be very, very patient with their male partners and counterparts, as well as all the political, economic, socio leaders of the world. We've had to be very patient for the males to wake up. And so I heard through the rumor grapevine that Trudeau got a wonderful smudging ritual from the Indigenous just last week. So, you know, once again, we want the male to be supported as they go through this awakening, in order to balance the male and the female, and to accept all female entity beings, human civilizations that exist here on this planet as equal. There is no inequality anymore.
Right.
None.
Right.
That's done. That's over. So here we have that heart body, and now we're moving into the powerhouse. I call it the God mind. Now, do you have any questions about anything so far?
I do not. I think you've answered everything so far.
Okay.
Thank
All right. This is the most interesting aspect of what is going on for us. I'm taking my glasses off because it's starting to activate at the base of my skull. So in the third dimension are the brain stem was connected to the spinal cord in a way that controlled us. You can call it reptilian or denoid if you want. It is an old dimensional frequency that is no longer applicable, and it looked like a mushroom. So as we moved from the year 2000 to 2004, 2008, humans had to make choices about their direction in life. As we moved towards 2012, 13, 14, the Earth Mother rebirthed into a new frequency, the fifth dimension. It has not been constant, but it's always been there. It has never dissolved. It is in her blueprint. Now it is constant, it's cemented. And so all of what she's going through, we go through. And all of what we go through affects her journey of her evolutionary experience. So at the base of the skull, where that little indentation is, and you can all go there and feel it, the reptilian brain was dissolved, removed replaced. You can use whatever you want. I prefer dissolved.
How did that happen?
And, it's a slow process, but it's not really. The only way that I can explain it is an analogy. When I was walking with the galactics in my field many years ago, they took me under their small starship, which looked like the underbelly of a mushroom. And one minute they were there and the next minute they were gone. And so the same is applicable here. One minute it's part of our soul journey, and the next minute it's gone. It literally receives a decoding. It's decoded, therefore dissolved, removed, released. For some people, it could be a gradual process because we do not want any healing crisis. For other people, it's a very immediate, and it would be immediate for those whose Kundalini rising has already reached its peak.
Okay.
So it is very individual, but painless and for the most part unknowing. But the knowing is when you start to hear buzzing, ringing in the ears, you're receiving messages from the outworld because your telepathic communications are becoming clearer and cleaner. So all the senses are being expanded and activated in a different way. So again, the old system decoded, the new system is in a constant encoding, and constantly encoding, refining. But like always, there's a little bit of work and then a pause, a little bit of work and then a pause, a little bit of work and then a pause, so that there's no healing crisis. And you may know people who have gone through healing crisis, and that's because they're wanting to fast track, or they fast tracked trying to get somewhere that they're not ready to be. So base of the skull is this, it's like it's like a crest, but an upside down, and it runs at the base right to each ear. And so there's a link between the medulla oblongata and this curve. It's like a Cheshire cat, and it's like a piano, a keyboard. So that curve is an orchestration of sound. The outer world, you can call it your galactic federations, your spiritual hierarchy, your cetacean guardians, your earth guardians, inner earth guardians. They're all here helping and supporting these activations that are constant in the head, so that we become God mind rather than egoic mind. Now, linked to that beautiful Cheshire cat keyboard are the ears, and this is a new chakra. Now, Virginia is seen in Sheldon Neidl don't have the ear chakras noted in their book, but they are definitely part of this grand cross, the pituitary, the medulla oblongata, and the ear. This information goes into the dominant ear, to the other ear, and back and forth. It's like fluid scalar waves, like sound waves that are constantly moving, keeping it clean, keeping it communicating with the outer worlds, or with whoever that particular person is meant to communicate with. Maybe it's someone who's meant to communicate telepathically, with the inner world of the Earth Mother. So once again, it's very unique. But the pituitary, again, gland of the endocrine system, now is a dominant chakra that's connected specifically to the medulla oblongata as the messenger. Very, very important. Ultra, ultra important, because pituitary carries every message to every single system, every gland, every part of the body. Everything that's part of the body is communicating from the pituitary message, coming from the medulla oblongata. So we are rising, expanding, and circulating, knowingly and unknowingly. But how often now do we have an aha moment where, oh my God, how do I know that now? Where I didn't know it a year ago, 10 years ago, and all of a sudden there it is. And so we're going to wake up more and more to these knowings that exist inside of us already. And we're remembering that which was, that which is, and that which will be. Everything is going to be exacerbated, so that we have these little wake ups. Eventually it'll calm down, but right now it's not calm.
Yeah, no.
And if you notice the world, it's always an exaggeration. And so it wakes us up. It needs to wake us up. There's no coincidence, really. There is and there isn't, but everything is exaggerated right now so that we don't become complacent. And then as we move slightly upward, there's another grand cross. The third eye is linked very, very significantly with the pineal in the center of the brain. Some will say it's in the frontal lobe. I always see it basically in the front but center of the brain. When I'm doing healing work, I visualize liquid viscous gold moving through the river of my brain. And it expands the consciousness of my brain. It expands the pineal gland, which is the connection to God, the supreme energy force, that and the thymus. The God mind is signed, sealed, and delivered in the pineal gland. I can't really tell you why right now, but there is a particular seed that has always existed within us. It's like it goes from, it was seeded, how can I say this? From the very beginning of human civilizations, and even before that. It is a seed within a seed within a seed within a seed, within this pineal gland that is really the emphasis of the God mind, that is very much connected to the third eye, which gives us the vision to have the awareness, the clarity of seeing every dimensional universe. Some will call dimensions universes. I prefer to use the word dimension because it gives us a certain frequency of vibration. And so the third eye will allow us to meander through. You don't have to think of it as linear, but it's easier to visualize if you think of it as a ladder, but it's not. And so we climb that ladder, we meander that ladder with the third eye, and we can sit with clarity in each dimension and commune with each dimension and receive insight within each dimension until we reach that ninth dimension, which holds that pineal, that third eye of God. Okay, so there's the answer. The third eye of God is the seed within the seed within the seed, which is the ninth dimensional frequency. So there again, we all have the ability to achieve and access all of these dimensional frequencies with the will, with the desire of the solar plexus, which takes us into the heart and then moves us up and into and out. So there's this constant flowing. And of course, it connects to the crown. I literally see a tiny little crown on everybody's head. And like the lotus flower, all of this wisdom moves through the crown. The crown really is the portal. It's the portal for all of this to come into the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual bodies, to spread in us, around us, through the chakras, through the central nervous system, the Sushumna central nervous system, and down our legs, out our feet, and into the Earth Mother. So we have this looping experience from the divine, through our crown, through our body, down our legs and out our feet, into the Earth Mother, into the core crystalline wisdom, and then it comes back. So we constantly, I mean, why loop in the old way when we can loop in the new way?
Now, is that the
It's
toroidal
beautiful.
field?
That's, yes.
Okay.
There are toroidal fields within toroidal fields, but yes, it is one of the toroidal fields. We will go there, but not just yet.
Okay.
But ask that question. It's a beautiful question.
Well, yeah, because when you're describing it, that's what I'm feeling.
Yes, exactly. And so it is. It's like a northern hemispheric toroidal field and then a southern hemispheric toroidal field. And they connect in the middle at the navel with two rings of fire, two loops of fire, one moving up and one moving down, but they're in constant contact. When one is moving one direction, the other is moving the opposite direction, and they can shift. It's like the axis of the earth. She is a northern toroidal field, a southern hemisphere toroidal field. They are linked at the equator like two rings of fire. Two twin flames is more specific. And when she shifts her axis movement, we shift ours. So once again, we are very, very linked to how she is evolving. And she is, of course, affected by how we are evolving. All right?
Okay. Now
she's not dependent. She's not dependent on us any longer, but she is affected by us.
Makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Now how, and if I'm getting us way off track, to say that's for another lesson.
Yes.
Yes. The Merkabah, how does that come into all of this?
We have all right, I'm going to go a little bit further and then I'll explain the layers, because the Merkabah really is the outermost layer of our energy field. And it is very, very individualistic. But if we were to go to the Crown Chakra, because that is the 12th chakra, or what I refer to as the 12th chakra of the physical body. From that link of the pineal and the third eye are two antennas that come through the chakra, through the crown chakra, as high as our arms can reach. The antennas are literally antennas to the outer world. So we are communicating with these antennas. And when they reach as far as they can go in this wide V, they then come together at an apex and create a diamond over the crown. Wow. All right, so we have this, what I call diamond head. There's a lot of information that's going on above the head. And at that apex, there is a star soul chakra. And so this energy system goes straight through the crown, through the diamond head, and through the star soul chakra and climbs as high as the individual desires. That's how I climb into the ninth dimension and into the third eye of God.
Wow.
So from that apex, that star soul chakra, there are millions of filaments, threads of gold that surround the body. And that protects the toroidal fields. That protects the toroidal fields. And then around that is, well, it's a little more complex now because there's a series of energetic, geometric sound systems within that golden cage. Let's call it a golden cage. But I should say that that beautiful dome of golden energy comes just below the feet. There's also an apex just below the feet. So the feet, if you were to put the soles of your feet together, you would see the diamond between both legs. And there you have another diamond, not a diamond head, but a diamond sphere where a lot of energy accumulates. It's coming up from the Earth Mother and it sits there and percolates before it comes through the root chakra. So everything is very different now. We have a different sound system, which is our energy system, a new DNA system, a 12-strand DNA system, a new chakra system, so that we can begin to become a galactic civilization rather than just an Earth civilization. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have these two revolving toroidal fields, but around that toroidal field is a unique individual geometric sound system that creates your own energy field. And then that golden cage, that golden dome, don't like the word cage, that golden dome surrounds your toroidal field, surrounds your sound system, and keeps you very, very clean and protected. Then around that is a global Merkabah. So it's one energy, it's all layered and it's quite complex. I try to keep the information simple, so it's easy to initially understand before we dive into the complexities of it. And right now we're allowing this pulse of time, this time pulse, to exist in us and around us. And it's very much like the wings of a butterfly, a hummingbird, a dragonfly. It's constantly moving, constantly moving. It depends on how we think and how we do and where we are and who we're with. All of this is in constant movement, creating this co-creative Merkabah. And so when you put your arms out to the side and wiggle your fingers, that's the global Merkabah. And you can expand that around the world.
Wow.
You can expand it inside the earth. You can expand it to include the Milky Way, the solar system. You can expand it to include this universal consciousness into all universal consciousnesses, if you are so willing. But I think once again, the individual needs to ascertain who they are at soul essence, which determines their mission at this time on this planet. And to stick with that, to refine it over the next couple of years, to do the best work that we possibly can over the next couple of years, and then to climatize while we're doing our best work. Because as we have said, it's very irregular, very exaggerated, very confusing. And so if we stick to our own job, whatever that job is, we will find tiny little successes that will keep us going, rather than major big bang miracles, because we're not looking for that. We're going to gather together and share together and unite together to create this conscious oneness, rather than become individualized. When we desire to become individualized, we fall from the grace of God. It creates duality, and that's not why we're here. And so there is no better, no less, no right, no wrong.
Wow. That's like that's a good stopping point. If you feel
That's
like you wrapped everything up for today.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was
beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I learned so much today, and you're going to help a lot of people.
I hope so. I hope it wasn't too much.
No, you explained it very well. The whole time you're talking about it, I could totally visualize all of it very easily.
Good.
Very easily. Well, thank you, Joy. And we'll have Joy back again next month if she's willing to share some more information with us. I'm sure it'll be just as exciting as today.
Yes, always. Thank you. Many blessings.
Bye-bye.